Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I wanted to talk about QSR stock or restaurant brands, and I kind of wanted to give my views on where I think this stock could potentially be headed. So we have a pretty great setup here. We have this wedge that's kind of built out, and it's actually starting to break out, and I think now might be giving you a decent entry. I wanted to start this video by kind of talking about this wave count we have here, and we've kind of completed this 5-wave cycle higher ever since those March lows, and ever since then we kind of built out this flat ABC wave into this wedge pattern. So now it would make sense to make another kind of 5-wave cycle higher. I think it's very likely that we see that kind of unfold longer term, but on a short-term basis, I kind of wanted to give where I think this stock could potentially be headed after breaking out of this wedge pattern, and a way you could potentially go around trading this. So I think there's a very good chance we see a push up to this 138.2 to 161.8% extension. That's usually where you're going to head to after a breakout of the range. You're going to head to the 138 to 161.8% extension of that range. That sits between 64 and 66. So a way I'd go around trading this is if I was to take the position here, well, I'd use these lows back here as my stop loss at about 54, so I'd use 54 as my stop loss. I'd look to trim half into 64.50 and then sell the rest into 66.60. So basically I would end up trimming half into that 138.2% extension and then riding the rest of that 161.8% extension. After you trim half, you'd look to raise your stop to break even. That way you get a risk-free ride higher. So in this case, you're risking about 4 points for about 8 points, so you've got around a 1 to 2 risk reward in the trade. It's not the best risk reward in a trade like this, but it is decent, and I think there's a really high probability chance we do see this play out to that 161.8% extension. So longer term, something we could see is maybe a push up to this extension here, then a retrace back down to this breakout, and then potentially a third wave higher that then pushes us back close to these previous highs, where then maybe we see some supply come in, retrace some, and then one final wave that pushes up to or over these previous highs we have back here. As I said, I think there's a good chance we see another 5-wave cycle higher here. This first wave most likely will build out to this 161.8% extension where there should be some significant supply, probably build out a second wave, and then we'll build out that third wave and probably break over those highs. So I do think actually right now you even have a good long-term entry as well. I think you could do the same. I think you could kind of take a long-term position here at 58, use this 54 level as a stop, and potentially you could target these past highs here. You would look to trim into the same spot. You'd want to trim half into that 64 to 66 area, and then you can just raise your stop to break even and ride this higher longer term. Since I'm a short-term trader, I'd probably look to trade around this, but you could just take a long-term position here, trim half at 66, and then get that risk-free ride higher. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of my views on this stock. I think you have a pretty great setup here. Decent risk reward in the trade. Longer term, you have a very good risk reward in the trade. And yeah, if you kind of enjoyed this video or it helped you out in some sort of way, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. Thank you so much for watching.